Hi guys, this is DJ. I am standing on top of Sai Prasanna Kumar's house. I am in the rooftop garden of Sai Prasanna Kumarji, Gardens of Abundance, and this is a video I want to make about the PDC that's coming up from November 9th. There are a lot of questions regarding PDC and what it is and what is so special about the PDC that we do, etc. Now, here are a few things. You can see the abundance all around me, and obviously in permaculture food production is an important aspect, because that's one of the fields of activity of human beings that impacts everybody, because everybody needs food. So there are a lot of examples, permaculture methodologies, permaculture design techniques that are directly related to food production, farming, gardening, etc. But that's not where it limits itself. Will Mollison himself coined the term permaculture to mean permanent agriculture initially, but then quickly he shifted it to mean permanent culture. The reason being, it's not just agriculture that is the focus to make the world a resilient, sustainable and ethical place. The reason is a farmer can produce, say, 10 times the amount he produces, but still that doesn't make the whole thing, the whole society more ethical, nor does it make all the distribution channels, all the waste products that are generated, etc., to be consumed most appropriately by the systems that are there in the society. It has to be a cultural shift, it has to be an attitudinal shift, and therefore Will Mollison changed it from meaning permanent agriculture to mean permanent culture, because it's the culture that has to change. It's the way we take care of ourselves, we nourish ourselves, we nurture ourselves. So permaculture design certificate is about that. It is about changing the way we look at the world, changing the way we operate. And as the name suggests, it's a design certificate course, meaning that at the end of it, you will have the tools required to start designing your own lifestyle and that of the society. And permaculture, as many of you know, and if someone doesn't know, I'll reiterate it, is based on ethics, 3 ethics: earth care, people care and fair share, or return of surplus as it can be called. That is, we care for the earth in everything that we do. Now, how does permaculture apply to something other than farming? Some might ask. I have been asked that question. I could not put up a video made on that, but here is a quick example. Now, it's a subject called patterns. It's a chapter module called patterns in a PDC that we look at, that we study the patterns in nature and the functional aspect of patterns. Many people think of patterns as just curved lines giving you more space. That's one function of it. There are these herb spirals, there are all these patterns, but what do patterns mean? There is a lot going on in a pattern. When you talk of a pattern, there is a scale of it. What size is the pattern? You know, a shell of a snail is about that big, right? That's a spiral. Now, what if you make a spiral out there? What are its advantages? Why did a spiral form? The thinking behind it is what comes in the patterns lesson. So let's take a look at one of the pattern applications in life other than farming. It's a simple example so that everybody can understand. But if you look at the streets in the modern urban planning, they are kind of designed like leaves, right? There's a stem and there are all these veins that are, for which are attached the houses. It's like a composite leaf, like that of a lucina, where a long stalk is there and there are tiny leaves all around by its side. Now, what does that pattern tell you? That pattern is there to be able to take nutrients that come up through the stem and through the branches and into the twig, and it is distributed, the water, etc., and minerals are distributed along the main channel and then supplied to each individual leaflet. And similarly, the photosynthetic sugars are taken from those leaflets and put back into the root system and into the other parts of the plant. Now, that pattern emerged in nature to facilitate a multiple production system, not a multiple consumption system. That pattern is not appropriate for a consumption system. If we have a street, consider what's happening right now. There's this long street and it connects to a larger road, and those roads lead to, say, a supermarket. Now everybody in each of those houses that are there on each street is getting into a car or a bike, driving all the way to the supermarket and getting their groceries and dumping their waste right where they live, right below their feet in septic tanks, at least here in India, or into the public sewage system. Now that's a consumption model where we are all going there and getting our groceries. But now think of how many people are going along the same road every day to the end, to the shop. Is that required? Is so much petrol required for so many people to go there to get a bag of groceries? That's a pattern flaw, because that pattern is making us, that pattern of behavior and the pattern of layout is making us burn up a lot of fossil fuels and a lot of time and energy for people. Instead, maybe every day one van can come and go, supplying all the needs to the people. Better still, if people are consumers, then they are getting stuff. When they are producers, they are going to use the same channel to distribute stuff. Now what's the best pattern for that? If you start thinking about it, we'll start coming up with things like home deliveries, which are happening but not in the most appropriate sense of it, not in the most designed sense of it. Maybe there's a gated community where there's a supply of seedlings rather than food stuff to every rooftop garden in the place, and the person who supplies seedlings might just have to come once every month, and then all the food produce is collected into a central place, which is a star pattern. It's like the pattern you would see if you're looking at a tree from the top. There's a center point and there are pathways all around it. It's like all the people get together at one place and take things away. What is that pattern good for? So those things, for example, give an idea into behavior, into spatial relationships, into energy flows that we use to design stuff. And so, as you can see all around you in the world, everything from producing your own food, where each unit in that pattern is becoming a production cell of energy, of food stuff, of biomass, etc. It's more of a tree system, and maybe we can use that pattern to our advantage. So this is the way we think of various things. Similarly, think of this. Some other example. There are all these software centers, software buildings, huge honking buildings, Infosys and other companies which have huge data servers. What do servers produce? Heat. And they are cooled constantly with air conditioners at huge cost of electricity. Actually, the world over, data centers take 2% of all electricity consumed by all the mankind. Data centers take up 2% of all the electricity. And in the process, they are generating heat. And is there heat required elsewhere? Yeah. If you can probably liquid cool the systems and use the hot water that's coming out, maybe for steam production, maybe for electricity production, maybe to keep your offices warm in cooler countries. Maybe that's a connection that could be made. Now that is a way where we think of inputs and outputs. So all these design tools will be given to you in any good PDC. Now in our PDC that we are doing, why are we doing our own PDC? The reason is that we have gone through several books. We have a library here, personal library of 2 or 3 friends put together. We have studied everything from Chinese agriculture, ancient texts, ancient methodologies, books on agriculture, books on traffic systems, then whole plethora, all the way up to all the major permaculture books, Peter Bain stuff, Joel Salatin books we have gone through Sepp Holzer books, we have gone through, of course, the Permaculture Design Manual, we have gone through Fukuoka's books, we have gone through the whole plethora, and we have also gone through scientific papers, all through this to come up with solutions that really are applicable the way we function. Add to that, we have done a lot of experimentation for the last 5-6 years now to come up with solutions that seem more closer to the permaculture ideal than there is. Add to that, we have a diverse team here And all around the place in India, you have various places where permaculture is being taught, which could be good. I have not gone there, which could be bad. Most of them are good. Rikozuki is very good. I came to know, but they are also teaching PDCs. We are also teaching PDC. In my PDC, what you receive is a full-blown, very serious transfer of ideas, information, and design thinking. I know there are a lot of PDCs which are song and dance, and which are, where students come in and they spend half a day just stirring a compost or putting up a garden bed. I kind of think for the 12 days that we are given, or for the 14 days we are given for a PDC, the amount of stuff I want to impart to the students to make them good designers, the time itself is very, very short. I find that very short. I can't take out time from that, to just make tribal songs or something else. That's not my style. The way we deal with it here is that there will be 6 to 8 hours of stringent whiteboard or blackboard stuff where we are teaching you theory, knowledge, information, ideas, and there will be 2 or 3 hours of practical work every day. So that already amounts to 8 to 10 hours a day there itself. And then there will be chats, and there will be video screenings, and then there will be design exercises, there will be all of this, probably setting up a garden, many types of compost, the essentials of soil, the whole gamut. But my PDC is really not about play, fun and frolic. It's really serious, because the world is going punk if you don't do the right thing, and it's about getting up every day during a PDC from morning to evening, doing the best we can to learn about permaculture and learn to observe it all around the place. We'll show you what we have done here, and being in an urban scenario, it offers us this ability to give you an internet access as the course is going through, because there are so many concepts you learn in my PDC, which you will have to go back. If you want a deeper knowledge, you will be Google searching for a month after this, day in and day out, because that's the amount of information we impart to you. Everything from climates, all the way to earthworks, all the way to people systems. The stuff that we give you ranges from transpersonal psychology all the way on this side in the natural world to the most common pond construction. So it covers a whole range. Housing is covered, how to regenerate degraded land is covered. So it is going to be a chalk and talk. A lot of talking in front of the board. Yeah, you will be doing gardens. We want to show you some of the ways that we came up with methods of gardening that are extremely useful in converting huge tracts of land into beautiful productive systems, particularly when the investment is not that high, when we can't invest that much, when people can't invest that much. All the way to testing a soil, testing any soil sample for the basic qualities that it has, understanding the soil dynamics, survey methodologies. You will go through all these, and then there will be a design exercise. So this is a serious PDC for people who want to be able to design societies, who want to look at the world in a better way and to find solutions rather than problems. If you get onto Facebook and get onto relevant pages, all you keep on getting is problem after problem after problem. Oh, there is this crisis, and then that crisis, and then this crisis. Huge problems, humongous problems. But as Bill Mollison says, although the problems of the world are tremendous, the solutions seem to be, embarrassingly simple. And permaculture is the way to get to those solutions, the way you think about it. So, in my PDC, you will be going through all the chapters of the Permaculture Design Manual, the big black book as we call it, which is tremendous. It's a beautiful, beautiful book, and I didn't believe it, but until I really myself took a good PDC, I really didn't get the sweetness of the book myself. You go through the PDC and then you go through a Permaculture Design Manual. It's like mind-blowing. Every sentence is loaded in that book. So come here, join us as we talk about all these aspects of permaculture, not just food production, not just what you do on your farm, but really what you do, what we as humans have to do in society. We have to design everything. So that is basically what the PDC is about. It starts from November 9th, and the first day itself we jump into classes. We meet up in our garden at around 7 in the morning. That's what we're planning. We do introductions while we go through the gardens, while you go through the basic materials that you are given for your hands-on understanding. There is vermicomposting, there is hot composting, there are probably 8 to 10 different types of garden beds that are garden systems that we are going to take you through as a practicals, which happen in the morning and probably in the afternoon after lunch or in the evening, depending on the climate. After that, we jump directly into the introductions module. Of course, we get introduced to each other in the garden, but once we are in front of the chalkboard, we start looking at permaculture in a very serious way. It's not motherhood statements and then dance. It's not songs and dance. It's not setting up a solar rocket stuff. No, we are going to do that. We are going to show you how to do those things, some of the most pertinent technologies for India particularly, as well as for the world. For the stuff that is for the outside world, probably we'll go more of it over in theory, but for here, for what applies to India, we will do it practically as much as possible. But the theory is king in my PDC. We go through the principles day in and out till the evening. Probably then we'll go back to some garden work, etc. So do join us. Sai, probably this video will be up on his channel, or I don't know, on my channel, we'll see. But you can see the kind of abundance he's generating on his rooftop. I mean, knowing how little time he has to take care of this stuff, just look at how strong things are. And yeah, no artificial fertilizers. Once again, for those who still argue about GMOs, no, we are producing tons of stuff on our rooftops. We don't need GMOs. We know how to do this. You can see in containers, 3 sisters being managed. Now, how many have you come up with that? Maintaining 3 sisters in containers? Yeah, that's a good one. Several such stuff. We talk of government lands, degraded grazing lands. How do you get them back into shape? For those who know permaculture, there is key line system, there are all these things, but how do you select which one is the best? You have to learn the design science for that, to be able to do that accurately and to be able to pace yourself. Some people look at a farm and say, okay, I'll design this in a permaculture way and then jump in and do everything in a week or two. No, that's not the way it works. What you do is you do a mainframe design. You move elements in such a way that they are not destructive, and then you wait and watch, and then you keep on adding. That's basic stuff in permaculture PDF, which many people don't seem to consider. Now, come here. We want to share all this with you. We desperately need designers for the society. Lots of designers. My expectation is we at least need 10 lakh designers in the next 2 or 3 years to get India back into shape. I mean, I'm talking of 10 lakh. You come here, you please take the information. We have done the hard work. We have gone through various courses. I have put in the money to experiment stuff. My friends have put in their time and effort. We left jobs to really learn this. We are not doing this part-time on Facebook. No, for the last 5 years, it's been a full-time study. You can't even imagine the stuff we went through in the last 4 or 5 years. Experimentation, reading, study, whatnot. We want to give all that to designers to get this whole thing in shape. Yeah, one other thing. After you finish our PDC, right? If you are ready to teach, we are ready to help you to get into teaching. Probably we'll teach alongside you. Just like in this PDC, my students Sai Prasanna Kumar and Upendra are teaching alongside me. And probably in the next one, 2 more students are getting ready. Where we are in the process of making teachers. We want permaculture teachers. We don't want permaculture practitioners to sit idle. There's no time for that. We need more designers, teachers, as well as practitioners. So I can't request you more than this. I'm sure this is worth your while if you are thinking about changing the way you live and your family lives and how the society is. and how we can change it to be more abundant and prosperous. So this is what I wanted to talk about my PDC, and welcome you all. Already a few people are there in the PDC, few good people, some freshers, some very experienced farmers. Actually one very experienced farmer is coming. So come and join us, and we'll see you there on November 9th, preferably on November 8th evening. Thanks for watching. Any questions regarding the PDC, please put them down in the comments. DJ signing off.